You're listening to the Bear Down Chicago podcast with Logan Bradley, Ryan Dangle, Patrick Sheldon, Brendan Shagrew, and Jack Wright. The Bear Down Chicago podcast. Yeah, we're that Bears podcast.
All right, folks, welcome into another edition of the Bear Down Chicago podcast. I am your host, Ryan Dangle. Now, I am joined by some fantastic people tonight, and I am so excited about it. He's back, folks. The one, the only, Jack Wright. If you want to find Jack on Twitter, you can hit him at Bear Down Jack. Jack, you still work here?
I do. Thanks for having me back. It was a pleasure to be a guest on your... No, I'm just kidding. I missed you guys. It's good to see you. I love your footy jersey there, Artie.
Dude, okay, so I get the confused looks that I get. Sheldon, no, I'm not introducing you yet. You wait your turn. The looks that
nobody put Sheldon in the corner.
I just put Sheldon in a corner. The looks that I get from people is so confusing, but my footy team has won 12 in a row. The last one was like a buzzer beater, last second, like impossible shot. It was so much fun, so I got to rep it today. All right, now I will bring on the one, the only Patrick Sheldon. You want to find Patrick on Twitter. You can hit him at P_Shells. Shells, you're currently muted. I'm just going to tell you so that you don't do that. Shells, how are you?
Not great, guys. I feel like some breaking news here. I think I may be getting booted off the pod. The last two times I've tried to sign on, I get a 404 error message. And then I got to come to Ryan Dangle, the gatekeeper, to get some kind of wizard code to get in. So I don't know what's going on.
Hey, Shells, go ahead and grab your playbook. We're going to need to a meeting with the GM here in a minute.
I feel like that's about to happen here. So am I still good?
You are still employed by the Bear Down Chicago. And by employed, I mean you still show up on a regular basis.
With you guys once a week. It's awesome.
Truly, I miss you guys a lot. The off season is fun. You know, sometimes it's nice to have a Sunday night where we're not doing, but I also miss you guys a whole heck of a lot. So before we get too far into this episode, we've got some people to thank. And this is exciting, folks, because I've got a brand new ad read that I've actually got to look at right here. Because our guy, Jeff Cadwalder, who we've been talking about for a long, long time, he's one of our original sponsors of the show. He's got some news. So our friend Jeff Cadwalder has been working hard since the beginning of the year to expand his real estate services to now include commercial properties. And he's been killing it. It doesn't matter if you're a business owner, a homeowner, or an investor. If you're looking to buy, sell, or lease commercial or residential properties, Jeff is your guy. Please give him a call, give him a text, right? Jeff Cadwalder with SVN Landmark today at 630-254-4734 or visit genevajeff.com today. Do it today.
I love that you're getting some hair back, Ryan, because you can go get haircuts with our guy, Will, which is exciting. Sheridan's Barbershop, located in historic downtown Wheaton, Illinois, has been serving the community for 68 years with 6 barbers open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. They have appointments available to book online or by phone at your convenience. You can go to Sheridan'sBarbershop.com or you can call 630-668-0137 and book yours today. Sheridan's Barbershop, where traditional meets modern.
All right, so I'm very excited about this episode, and it's interesting. So Adam Ishikawa, just so you know, who has already put in, I'm sure you guys are shocked by this, has already put in the thing. I tried to find you. You're nowhere on social media, dude, because we were going to invite you to this episode. Make sure you send us an email at beardownchipod at some point so you and I can get connected, and we can get you on to another episode at some point. Boys, I'm excited. I'm so excited. We've had 2 of these people on before, but the interactions that we have had with the 3 of these people has just been stellar, fantastic, phenomenal. And I'm just so excited that we get to say thank you to them by having them on the show. We've got some fun questions for them. And so first, I want to bring Scott Swartz onto the episode. Scott, my man, how are you? How is life? How are your Cyclones doing?
Well, I tell you what, I'm doing great. It's so good to be back. Jack, Shells, nice to see you fellas again as well. Things are good. Things are great. No complaints at all. The Cyclones, they didn't have a great football year last year. So a lot of rebuilding going on, but they've got a couple of good recruiting classes. Couple of new teams in the new look Big 12 this season. So we'll have to see how that goes. But summer's usually the time that I'm all about the Cubs baseball, but that's kind of been not so great. So I'm kind of jonesing for football season to get kicked up here again soon.
Absolutely. All right. The next. Oh, sorry. Please.
Yeah. I was just quick shout out to Scott. You inspired me, Scott. I can't remember where you were, but I saw a Twitter post of you holding a summer shandy, and it motivated me to go out and get a 6-pack immediately. So thank you, my friend.
I tell you what, it's July 4th fireworks in my town tonight. So whenever we finish this up, I'll go over and we can see them from my backyard. I've got a 6-pack of it in my fridge, and you better believe one of those is getting, at least one is going to be knocked off tonight while I watch the fireworks. So
America.
Amen.
All right. Okay. And now speaking of North America, we have our favorite Canadian, TJ Brooks. TJ, how are you, dude?
I'm good, man. I've been looking forward to this all week. It's been a crazy week up here in the Great White North, but nice to be able to finally join you boys. Jack, Shells, good to see you guys. Scotty, have a drink for me tonight too, bud.
You and Ozzy crushed the episode that you did together. It was so good. I know Mongo's family reached out to you guys after you did it. It was brilliant. It was incredibly well done. TJ, so excited that you're on the episode and sticking with North America, for all the way from Mexico City, the one, the only Heidi. Heidi, how are you?
I am good. Very happy to be here again. I can't believe you guys are inviting me again. I'm not sure if you know what you're doing, but it's okay. I'm very happy. Thank you. And happy to finally meet some of my friends on Twitter, Scott and TJ. I am very happy to be here.
Awesome. Well,
I'm sorry. If you listen to some weird noises here, it's because it's raining on and off. So I apologize in advance.
You sound crystal clear, Heidi. So you're good to go. Just as out there, we want to invite these three, not just because they're some of our favorite listeners, but they're just people that interact with all of our stuff, and we just want to say thank you to all of you. So just before we get into our range of questions, very brief, and I cannot stress that enough to TJ, Scott, and Heidi. Did you grow up a Bears fan, and how did that come? Like 30 seconds or less. Let's go, Heidi, TJ, Scott.
Yeah, I grew up a Bears fan since I was at least 7 years old because of my nickname. My dad called me also, which is Bear in Spanish. So that's my team forever. That was quick.
Yeah, I did not grow up a Bears fan. Being in Canada, we only had a few NFL games airing at any given time, and the ones I seemed to catch the most were the San Francisco 49ers. So I was actually a Niners fan to start, but then about mid-90s I kind of fell off the NFL and was more focused on CFL, and followed that a little bit more. And then early 2000 I decided that I want to kind of get back in the NFL. Wasn't sure which team to pick, and then I watched a game between the Bears and the Falcons, the infamous Brian Urlacher making Michael Vick's life a living nightmare game. And that sold me on the Bears, and I've been a fan ever since.
I became a Bears fan in 1985, which was a pretty good time to become a Bears fan. My dad, yeah, right. My dad grew up in the Quad Cities, so he was a Bears fan forever, and he was watching a lot of Bears games that year. And man, they were just so dominant and so fun. And one night, I saw the Super Bowl Shuffle video, and I thought these guys are incredible. And they had this magical run through the playoffs, and I was like, I'm going to cheer for this team. The times will always be this good, I'm sure. And here we are, 40 years later, and it hasn't been that good ever since. But I was hooked then, and come hell or high water, I'm still hooked today.
It's kind of the ultimate bait and switch there, wasn't it, Scott? That is
yes, it was. It absolutely
was. That's cruel. It is cruel.
It is.
You deserve better, but I think better on that note, better times are coming, we hope. So let's hear from each of you. And it's so great to have all of our loyal listeners on today. Thank you for coming on with us. What are overall thoughts on the Bears' offseason so far? Let's go with Scott, and then TJ, and then Heidi.
But before I say anything, I just want to let you know, Jack, I've been thinking a lot about you. I hope you're doing well. I hope your family's well. But been thinking a lot about you in these past couple of months. So, I've been really pleased with how the Bears offseason has gone. I thought that the trade that they made for DJ Moore was really, really great. I thought to lock down a number one receiver. I think he works pretty well in the receiver room with guys like Claypool and Mooney. And so I'm excited for that. I really like what they've done along the offensive line. I think that they have some guys you can dream on there. I'm not sure about Cody Whitehair as a center yet. We'll see. But I like some of the other pieces they've got in place. And if people play and end up healthy, I think they've got some decent depth that they could actually have there. Some of the defensive signings that they've done, I really like as well. I like Edwards in the defense. I like I can't remember his name, the kid out of Miami they drafted for the corner in the second round. I really, really like him. So I've been super, super excited about it. I think, as you mentioned, Jack, I think my feeling towards the offseason generally has been that better times are ahead for the Bears. I've been pretty impressed with what they've pulled off this offseason.
That's going to be hard to follow. For me, the offseason, a lot of it, what Scott said, I agree with, the trade for trading the number one overall pick to get DJ Moore, a few other pieces involved with that as well. It was huge. Like, we finally got that wide receiver one that we've wanted for Fields. It hopefully changes a little bit of the rhetoric that we've seen over the last year of him being just a running back. So that for me is a positive. My main concern with the offseason so far has been our defensive line. I really do not trust it. I don't know if it's improved from last year. I'm hoping that some of the players that stuck around do take the next step. The two rookies we took in the second round of the draft there, hopefully they turn into some monsters in the middle there, so we can actually get a bit of a pass rush. As for me, though, one of the biggest changes they did in the offseason I really liked was the hiring of Kevin Warren. He seems to be a team president that's going to be a little bit more hands-on in a sense, where he's going to work side by side with Poles and Flus to try to get this team to where they need to be. It seems like he's got a very good idea of the direction he wants to take the Bears in, and it also doesn't seem like he's any way, shape, or form like Ted Phillips. So.
Okay, well, I don't want to repeat everything that Scott and TJ said, but I am very happy also. I think, I don't watch much college football, so I don't know the rookies very, very well. But I think overall we did a great job. Listen to me. And since the beginning, since the trade, I think it was great. And I also think that everything that's going on here right now, it's about Justin Fields and giving him everything he needs to be what we need him to be. And I think that Ryan Poles, at the same time, has a bit of an insurance with that 2024 first round pick he got from the Panthers. So I think we're on the right path right now. Maybe I say this every off season, but this time feels different. To me, it feels different. Free agency was great. I love Tremaine Edmonds. I love the signing of T.J. Edwards, Robert Tonyan. We have an ex-Packer. That's exciting. So overall, I'm happy. We'll see what happens.
So I was going to ask you all your favorite off-season move, but I think based on your previous answers, I could guess what they are. So I'll change it up just a little bit here. We talked about sort of the doldrums of the offseason. It can get long at times. It can lead to some people on Packers Twitter making some outlandish claims, and we all have to bear it. But I'm curious, how do you all get through the offseason? What do you do the offseason to kind of do you try to stay away from as consuming Bears content? Do you immerse yourself in it? Like, how do you stay sane during the off season? So let's reverse the order here, and let's start with Heidi. We'll go TJ, and then finish up with Scott.
What do I cook?
Yeah.
And I cook a lot. Yeah, I'm very busy. Actually, I am busy right now. I'm in Mexico City working. So it keeps my mind and everything from me occupied. So, and I argue some on Twitter, as everybody knows, with some Packers fans and some Lions fans and Vikings fans. But it's actually fun for me. It doesn't take the fun out of it because it should be fun. So that's pretty much what I do. And I had to get out of Bears stuff for a while, so for a moment, because I was going through many things here. But I am back, and I plan to argue a bit more. And it sounds crazy, but yeah, it makes me happy.
Your food that you post looks fan freaking tastic, Heidi. Like, I want to fly to Mexico City, one, because it's Mexico City, but two, I want to eat your food. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Whenever you want, be my guest.
Yeah, I got to second that with Dangle, Heidi. Some of the food you post is just amazing. Like, I just get hungry looking at it. Well, to answer Shell's question, I've got kids. So I love the off season.
Say no more, TJ.
So a lot of the off season, like, I've got tons of stuff going on this year. Like, I was really busy with hockey throughout the winter time, so I did miss a lot of Bears games, but I did catch up on them. And as far as the off season goes, like, my son, just finished lacrosse season this week. I had that, plus CFL football's on right now, so I've got something to keep me busy and entertained until Bears come back.
I probably spend more time watching baseball than I should. I'm sure my wife would agree with that, but that's probably my first love, is baseball. So I spend a ton of time watching baseball, in the off season, but I've got into to baking a little bit this summer. I'm a teacher, so the summer is also kind of my off season as well. And so I've gotten into baking a little bit. I made focaccia bread for the first time earlier tonight. I'm not going to take any pictures of it because, again, I'll echo what everybody else has said. Heidi has it like on lock for delicious looking food, and I won't compare to that. But I've kind of gotten into that a little bit. I also probably spend too much time on Twitter as well. Probably the only good thing about the limitations that are coming is we'll see fewer stupid Packer takes. So I guess maybe that's a good thing of that. The silver lining right there.
Especially that one where Jordan Love is apparently his ceiling is Patrick Mahomes. Like,
wait a minute. Wait, TJ, are you telling me that you wouldn't trade Patrick Mahomes straight up for Jordan Love? Is that what you're telling me right now?
Am I getting Patrick Mahomes or am I trading him? Because if I'm getting him, no problem. Deal done. Like, right away.
Well, look, if he's throwing to a combination of Justin Jefferson, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, and Fred Biletnikoff,
Right, yeah.
I mean, how can you go wrong? Anybody could be a good quarterback with a wide receiver like that, right?
Yeah, and as somebody who watches NDSU football, don't get me wrong, I love Christian Watson. He did great things for that program, but let's call a spade here. He ain't on their level.
All right. So last episode we had Taylor Dahl on. It was so much fun. The episode was a blast. And this question got way more responses than I thought it was going to. So I'm going to ask this question again. What is your favorite Bears uniform combination? For this, let's go snaking right back. So we're going to go Scott, TJ, Heidi.
My favorite Bears combination is it's kind of I think it's a pretty standard one they have. I am a sucker for the traditional navy blue tops with the white numbers. That's my favorite jersey, and the white pants with the normal navy blue helmets. Kind of a traditionalist like that. I'm not crazy about the orange. I do like the throwbacks that they did a few years ago, but I like the standard navy blue tops, white pants. That just looks like 85 Bears to me. And yeah, that's probably my favorite combination that they have.
Well, it's definitely not the orange ones, that's for sure. My God, I hate those highlighter jerseys.
Yes, let's go, TJ.
I cannot stand those ones. They just drive me insane every time I see them. I'm like, oh my God, they're just hideous. For me, it's 1940s navy and orange jerseys with the orange numbers. When they introduced those with the white pants back in 2012, I just fell in love with them. It's still my favorite combo to this day. Although I do have to say that someone last year on Twitter, they posted a picture of an all-white uniform. So white pants, white shirts, white helmet with the bear logo, not the C, the actual bear. And I just saw that and I went, my God, that is just money waiting to be printed. Why are they not doing this? If they did that, that would instantly become my favorite. But yeah, for now, the 1940s navy and orange, that's my favorite one.
This is going to come to you as a surprise because after all I've said on Twitter, all of you may think that my favorites are the orange ones, but no, those aren't my favorite. I know I said I've liked them. I've said it many times, but I don't love them. And those are not my favorites. So yeah, my favorites are also the 1940s throwbacks with the orange numbers. The Monsters of the Midway ones. I love them, and I think I have 2 of those jerseys, and those are my favorites with the white pants and I think the helmet has the C in gray. I don't remember well, but those jerseys, I love them. So those are my favorites, not the orange ones. I swear.
I love it. It's a great look. It's a great look. And so just because Adam Ishikawa, you are a very smart man, I have to throw it up there. Oh, I got so much hate for this. Blue on blue, baby. I'm right there with you, dude. I'm right there with you. Another one that this is a tweet of mine that I put out, and I did not expect it to get the response that it did. But it got a lot of questions back on it. So we're gonna snake right back the way we came. I want to know a team outside the NFC North that you like and a team outside the NFC North that you dislike, and just give us a quick why. So let's go, Heidi, TJ, Scott.
Okay. I'm gonna say this just because of my dad, because he was such a great fan of NFL football, and so the team that I like, just because my dad liked them very much, and it was not their favorite, but he did like them. It's the Saints, because I like their names, their uniforms, their song, and that's pretty much it. I think it's a very classical team. And the ones I dislike, it's a tough one, and everybody knows, but it's between the Vikings and the Lions and the Packers. But I couldn't say one. I hate one, dislike one more than the other. It should be Packers, but it's a very close one between those 3.
I love it. TJ, what about you?
Well, for me, I answered this question on Twitter there with you, Ryan. The team I like outside of the NFC North is still the San Francisco 49ers. I grew up watching Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and then Steve Young and Jerry Rice. Like, I loved those players back when they were still playing. And it also doesn't hurt that, they've eliminated Green Bay in the playoffs in the last decade almost every time they played them. Thank you, Robbie Gould. So yeah, they're probably the team I follow outside of the Bears. The team I dislike the most outside of the NFC North, the Patriots. I just cannot stand the Patriots. Tom Brady aside, for me, the greatest quarterback ever is still always going to be Joe Montana. But Brady's got 7 rings, and he did one without Belichick and the Patriots. So I have to give him his flowers there. But yeah, no, I've never liked the Patriots. I just found their fans completely obnoxious, and anyone I've met, they always tell me, "Oh, I was a fan before Brady when they had Drew Bledsoe," and I'm like, "Yeah, right."
I'm with you, TJ. The team that outside of the NFC North that I like has always been the 49ers. And of course, when they drafted Mr. Irrelevant, Iowa State's own Brock Purdy, I kind of fell in love with them a little bit more. But I've liked them for years, and I like them largely because of the same reason that TJ said, because they just kept knocking Green Bay out of the playoffs. And my playoff watching experience always increases exponentially when Green Bay gets eliminated. So I'm all about that. The team that I dislike out of the NFC North is without question the Dallas Cowboys. I have never like the Cowboys, and I'm sure that it's because all the media fawns over them so much, and anything that happens in Cowboy land is just huge news. And I just don't ever think they've been good enough to warrant that kind of attention. So I've always kind of disliked the Cowboys as well.
Shells, before you ask the next question, I want to hear you and Jack just real quick, because I didn't get your guys' take on this.
Oh, well, you don't read my tweets, I guess. So whatever. That's cool, Ryan. It's fine.
I wonder if there's been problems with Twitter lately, and I wonder. Sorry. So okay, it's got to be. I think you said Eagles or Giants. It's one of the ones because you're a New York kid.
Eagles were the team that I disliked. I just probably because they're fans. I just think their fans are some of the worst people out there. Even like outside of football, they're just terrible people. The team that I root for are the Steelers. My brother-in-law is a Steelers fan. My dad rooted for the Steelers a little bit when he was younger, and I like the way they run their organization. I love Mike Tomlin. They just seem to do things the right way. They've always got, just hard-nosed football players that play smart. So I think the Steelers are the team that I like and root for, and it helps that they're in the AFC, so I don't feel guilty rooting for them.
J-Dubs?
I don't claim to be ahead of the curve on much because I'm not. But I will say that when the Bears were like at the deepest, lowest valley, my kids and I were like, let's choose a second team just to root for. And I was like, well, and I think you guys remember me talking about Josh Allen before Josh Allen was Josh Allen. And I just loved, that dude, watching Josh Allen and watching the Bills was really fun. Plus, Canelan graduate, where I went to high school, Don Beebe played for the Bills. So they've always kind of had a special place in my heart. And I feel like you guys kind of really like missed an opportunity here. My new least favorite team in the entire NFL is the Jets, Jets.
Yeah.
Who wants to watch that tchotchke play football ever, anywhere?
I wish I hated Robert Saleh, but he's such a good coach. But now he's got to coach Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And the Jets have been mid for like 2 decades. So like
they really have been mid. That's well put.
Ryan, I have to say something.
Please.
As you can see, I am a bit distracted, and you asked for outside the NFC North, and I said all the NFC North.
But Heidi, it was a great answer, and we all agree with you.
I have one. I have one too outside of the NFC North, and it's going to be quick. The Dallas Cowboys.
Good.
Same reasons. This is Scott. Yes. That's it. Sorry about that. I'm a bit distracted today.
You're okay, Heidi. You're okay. It was a great answer. We all dislike the Vikings, the Lions, and the Packers, so it's good.
Yeah, it's religion.
So I guess now would not be a good time to disclose I'm actually married to a Packers fan, right, Heidi?
Oh man.
Oh yes.
Shells, next question.
Moving on.
Yeah, so we want to have a little bit of fun. You guys are phenomenal listeners and supporters of the podcast, and so we thought we'd have a little bit of fun with some superlatives, right? So we're going to ask a series of questions, see your thoughts on the podcast and the ugly mugs up top that host this thing on a weekly basis, although the ugliest one's not here at the moment. But
don't talk about Logan like that.
Taking shots.
No, kidding. We love you, Brendan. We can't wait for you to get back. We miss you. So I'm curious, and I'm sure this is why I'm asking the question, so don't read anything into it, guys. But who is the host that you find yourself agreeing with the most?
Do you want to give them an order?
Yeah, let's go Scott, TJ, and Heidi.
This is a tough one because I part of what I enjoy about this podcast, I feel like all of you guys are very level-headed and have really thoughtful takes, and it was really hard for me to think about that. But as I've gone back over it, I think the person that I've agreed with the most is Shells over the years. I think that your takes have been the ones that I've kind of lined up with the most.
I'm not keeping track or anything. Go ahead. Sorry, don't mind me.
TJ.
For me, as soon as I heard this question, it was a no-brainer for me. It's Jack. Jack usually has some of the most level-headed answers that I've heard on the pod. And he once asked a bunch of questions on Twitter, and he had some people trying to troll him, and just the way he handled them and basically turned it into like a little bit of a discourse discussion instead of like, trolling back and forth and name calling. That clicked with me. So yeah, I find myself, I agree with Jack the most. Checks in the mail, right?
Heidi, before you chime in, two of my best friends that listen to the pod, they go, "Oh, I love Jack. Jack's my favorite." Like, thanks, man. Heidi, what about yourself? And you,
yeah, right. Do you remember what I told you at before we started the show? So this is one of the tough ones. I'm sorry. Yeah, I find myself. TJ actually took the words out of my mouth, because Jack. It has to be Jack and Brendan, but mostly Jack, because he has the perfect answers to all the trolls, and he explains everything so, I don't know, in a way that that I always have to agree with him. So to me, it's Jack and also Brendan a lot.
Brendan is so good at what he does, and oh man, there's something in the works that we can't talk about, but just keep your eyes peeled for something really cool coming your way.
I'm waiting for the breakdowns this year. Like,
yeah,
that's the best. That his ability to do that, it blows my mind.
Yeah, it's same here. Like, it's so good.
Yeah,
he is incredibly creative, and thank you for the compliments to me too. That was really nice of you. But and then I was also saying to the guys the other day that, like, if he wasn't on our show, he would be a guest on our show like all the time. He's so knowledgeable, and boy, he's been grinding lately. Like, he just has been so spot on with his Bears coverage.
He's got an encyclopedic knowledge of Bears history.
Yeah. I always felt like I know so much about the Bears, and then I talked to Brendan. I'm like, I don't know anything.
All right, so let's go. Let's flip it for real. Which BDCP host do you find yourself disagreeing with most often?
I think I know.
Skin. I mean, Shell's skin isn't that thick.
Yeah,
but we have thick skin.
Listen, I got the pen and paper handy, so you all may be going on a different list, but answer freely. Go ahead, answer freely.
All right, we'll go Scott, TJ, and then Heidi.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I think I probably disagree with Dingle most, and I think that's probably because I think Dingle and Shells often have a lot of I don't know if it's even disagreements, but just different takes or different perspectives on things. And I think since I line up more with where Shells is, when you guys have had those discussions, I would hesitate even to call them arguments, but when you guys have had those discussions where you look at things, whether it was around like head coaches or things like that over the past several years, I've kind of aligned with Shells a little bit, and that was the area I kind of felt like maybe I had a few more disagreements with Dingle on.
But TJ, before you say anything, I think that's something that Sheldon and I talked about right from the get-go, was like that we really liked that we disagreed with each other, because it makes it interesting. Like, I've listened to podcasts.
It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Where people, they all sit around and they go, I agree. It's like, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to that.
I agree.
TJ, what about you?
Okay, this one I had a little bit more of a tougher task with. Honestly, it's a tie between Shells and Dingle. I love you guys both. Sometimes though, your takes, like, I just go like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
You're not alone, TJ.
Like,
right in the line right behind me.
Put it into context here. Like, last year after the draft, when we didn't draft a wide receiver, I know Dingle was on a tirade about it. And at the time I'm like, dude, like, we just got our secondary, like, we'll be okay. Like, we've got a bunch of receivers here that are, lunch pail guys. Like, they'll work really hard. Like, we don't have Nagy. And then, Dingle was right. So I have to admit it. And then I don't know what Shell's dislike of Komet is, but that's where I disagree with him a lot too. But
I will say my perceived dislike of Komet has become a little bit overblown. I don't think he aligns with the hype that a lot of Bears fans have for him. I think a lot of Bears fans expect him to be a tight end. He's not. And I think Kyle Rudolph is like his ceiling for me. And I think if he hits that, that's fine. But he's not like a game-changing tight end. And I think a lot of Bears fans are still holding out hope that he'll be that. And I just disagree with that. But I don't think he's a bad player. He's just not. He's not who I wanted in the second round that year.
Kyle Rudolph, really?
Yeah, but that's
It's
a decent.
fair,
I mean,
I
that's a
guess.
decent tight end. Like if he has a Kyle Rudolph type career, I'd be happy with that.
Heidi, what about yourself?
Ryan, you know I love you, right?
Yes, of course, absolutely. I knew this was coming.
Please. Yeah, you know, but it's not all the time, but no, and not most of the time because my memory is very bad. So you're lucky my memory is bad, but yeah, sometimes I disagree with you.
That's I love it.
Before everybody else.
I mean this sincerely. I'm not doing it to try to be a jerk. It's what I really think. But I've also felt like when as I've grown up, like I wanted to like play devil's advocate. I think Jack will attest to this, that I often play devil's advocate in almost everything that we're talking about. And now again, nobody wants to listen to a podcast where everybody disagrees. And I'm not mad at all of you for hating me, but I'm just a little salty.
We don't it's not hate. It actually makes it more interesting. So keep going.
the Logan Bradley. Hi, Logan. We miss you. We miss your face. Logan and I had plans to see each other 3 times, and it was my fault. It was Logan's fault. It was a bummer. So Logan, safe travels if you're not already back in LA.
All right. So you're flying down the highway in your Camaro, windows open, jamming some REO Speedwagon.
Not White Snake? I thought you'd go White Snake.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
You got to get to the store and get some Slim Jims, and you blow a tire. Which member of the cast are you calling most likely to change your tire?
Order, Jack.
Oh, I apologize. All the pressure's been on Scott, poor guy. Let's go Heidi, and then TJ, and then Scott.
I think I would call you, Jack. Because you travel. Yeah, no, I don't think so. You travel a lot. I know on your bike, but you must be handy with your bike. I used to have one, so you may have some skills to change a tire. Anyway, I can change a tire, any tire.
You don't need me. I believe
but
that.
if I can ask, if I can ask for help, I would ask Jack.
I got you. I'd be there for you.
Okay, thank you.
For me, if I needed help to change the tire, Ryan, I'm probably going to give you a call.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
In truth, though, I can change it myself, so I'd probably give Shells a call and tell him to come keep me company and just yak while I do it.
Fair. Totally.
You know who
fair.
wouldn't come? Cole Kmet. Tell you that much.
Oh, better call Kyle Rudolph then, I guess.
The dude just got 2 degrees in the off season. He just landed 2 degrees, and yet you're still busting his seeds about.
I'm just saying he probably wouldn't come help TJ change a tire.
That's true. That's a good point.
I would be there, TJ. I'm not so sure if you call Cole Kmet, he'd show up. That's all I'm saying. Those are just facts. I'm presenting them to you. You do with them what you want.
He's busy studying.
I think this one screamed Dangle to me. I think I saw something on Twitter. It was in the For You side. Every once in a while I forget to switch over to following, but it was in the For You side, and somebody that I didn't know had asked a question about who's the nicest person you've met on Twitter, and Dangle was the first person I thought of. I think Dangle's the nicest person I've met on Twitter, and I just think he just is a wonderful guy, and I think if there's somebody that's going to pull over and help somebody change a tire, that's the dude who's going to do it.
Scott, thank you very much. I appreciate that very, very much.
That's funny because I honestly think if you asked me that question, I would start with these 3. And I'm not saying that because you guys are on the pod, but I honestly would. You 3 would be at the top of my list.
I would drop everything, grab a couple of shandies, and come help you change the tire shells.
I just want to see Jack all greased up with his shirt off, changing my tire.
Wow. Why'd you got to take it there?
Oh, are we live? Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Sheldon, next question. Next question.
All right,
moving.
Stay on the track. Let's stay on the track. Sorry, guys. So here's a good one, guys, and I won't be disappointed if you don't say me, but who would you most like to have a drink with on the pod?
I think there's a right answer for this one, and that
Yeah, there's
person
only
may or
one.
not be on this episode right now. Just saying. Order.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to lead with TJ. I'm going to go TJ, Heidi, and Scott.
TJ.
Okay, who's buying the first round?
Yes. Whoever you choose. Whoever you choose.
You know what? I would love to have a drink with all you guys. I'm going to go with probably Dangle on this one here. You know, for me, I'm a beer drinker. I'll drink beer with anybody, but I don't know. I think Dangle and I would probably have a good time. Probably pound back a couple of Rooskies.
Talking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, baby. You know it.
Damn
You know it.
Cowabunga,
Absolutely.
dude.
Heidi, what about you?
This is a tough one because my answer would be I want to have a drink with all of you together, maybe someday before a game in Chicago, maybe the Raiders game, maybe because I'm going to be there.
Yes.
That's a hint.
No,
Yes.
yeah, no, but yeah, it's true. I would love to meet you guys and have a drink with all of you. There's no particular order or more love for one of you, or I would love to meet all of you and have one drink or two, or who knows.
Love it. Love it.
Overserved. Let's
A
get
beer.
overserved.
Yes.
Let's get crazy. Let's get
Yeah.
crazy up in this place.
Mm-hmm.
I echo that sentiment from Heidi. First of all, that I would love to have a drink with all of you, and like Jack and Dangle, we live close enough. The fact that we haven't made that happen yet is criminal. We need to make sure that happens.
Great
So,
point.
Absolutely.
but if I had to choose one person, and I would make this choice for a selfish reason, I would choose Brendan, and the reason I would choose Brendan is because Brendan is young and cool, and I am old and lame. And I want to be around. I'm trying to reclaim some of my youth and my coolness, and I feel like Brendan might be able to make that happen for me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's an awesome one. But I have to put this out here. You're all wrong. It's Logan. Logan is maybe the single funniest person I have ever met in my entire life. He'll lull you to sleep with his kind of dry humor, and then he'll like set you up, and all of a sudden you're crying from laughing. Just so I'm just putting that one out there. All right. So it is far too early. So Jack, you got this question for us?
Yes.
Oh,
wait.
I'm sorry. I skipped one. That's my fault.
Yeah,
My apologies.
all you shows.
Yeah. So I know when I miss a pod and I listen to the replay, there's always a question I want to jump in. I'm like, oh, and I start answering in my car. So I'm curious, as you've listened to the podcast over the last year or so, what's been the best question that you've heard, and what's your answer to that question?
Order, Shells.
Oh, I keep forgetting the order.
See,
Yeah,
it's hard hosting,
this
isn't
is why
it?
I don't host. One of the many reasons why I don't host, and then one of the many reasons why Ryan Dangle is an amazing host. I am going to go, let's go Heidi, TJ, and Scott.
Jesus. Let me tell you something. I have this terrible, horrible memory. So I listened to the podcasts, you all know, and
Yes,
at the moment, I pay attention. I don't know if it's this, if this is like a language barrier, but I can't recall of one exact question. So I would have to go, because I have to give an answer to your question, with the question you asked today, which one of the hosts you find yourself agreeing more or disagreeing more. That's a good question, because it puts me in a difficult place when I can't love everybody and say I agree with you and disagree. I don't disagree with you. So that would be the one.
Well, let me
sorry.
Let me go off script just real quick, just for Heidi then, and let's ask like the big one, right? Does ketchup, is it okay to put ketchup on a hot dog, Heidi?
Okay. I don't think I'm the perfect person to ask that, because I'm not from Chicago, and we in Mexico we put ketchup on our hot dogs. Not me ever, because I don't like ketchup. So that's a great question. Maybe for people from Chicago, but Not
If
for
there's
me.
ketchup, it's not a Chicago style dog. Next question. Next person. Let's go.
Exactly.
All right. Okay, I've got two favorites that one of them is kind of just an always question you guys usually ask some of your guests, and it's probably my favorite question that's ever been asked on the pod is rank your Reese's
Yes.
chocolates. That's
Let's
probably my
go.
favorite question you guys always ask to everybody, and everybody always seems to have a different rank, or they always have a similar one. Lately, though, in the last year, I have to say that the uniform combo, which one do you like best, has been probably the one that's given everybody the most to talk about. I know it's been asked a few times. The last pod with Taylor, you guys asked that, and you guys got a lot of discourse on that. So those are probably my two biggest favorite questions that I've heard on the pod since you guys started.
So TJ, real quick, what's at the top of your Reese's ranking?
For me, it's the Reese's Hockey Puck, I call it. It's basically a half-pound Reese's peanut butter cup. The damn thing is so huge. I get one every Christmas, and if you eat that in one sitting, prepare not to get off the couch.
Sign me up for a half-pound Reese's peanut butter cup, by the way.
If I see them this year, I'll grab you some, Scott. I'll send
Oh man, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. I think I'm kind of going to go the route that TJ went, and I'm not going to go with the Bears centric question. I think my favorite question, because I've always loved to hear the answer so I realize I may be stirring some stuff up here tonight, but it's Dango's question about the Oreos, about regular Oreos versus golden Oreos. I love hearing that question. I love hearing people answer that question. I love that it gets some things stirred up. And I this is another reason why my answers were earlier what they were, because I golden Oreos are just not as good as regular Oreos. I'm sorry, Dango, but it's regular chocolate Oreos, and if you can get double stuff, that's the way to go.
So I'm gonna hit the remove Scott Swartz from feeds section just really quick.
I gotta stop insulting the host. Dang it! What am I doing?
Don't be sorry at all. Don't even be sorry a little bit for being right. I mean, if loving chocolate Oreos is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Amen. Preach it, Brother Jack.
We've got one more question before we go to our game round. So let's get that last question. I'm excited about this.
All right, way too early season predictions. What do you think the Bears are going to finish up at this upcoming season? TJ, Scott, and then Heidi.
You know what? Last year I had the Bears at 6 and 7 wins, around that range. We obviously missed that mark, but I did pick them to beat San Francisco week 1. So I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that one. I think it's very plausible to win at least 6, maybe 7 games again this season. I'm going to go with that. I think for me this year, though, this is the Justin Fields' prove it year. We've got the defensive line has been changed up. We don't have a turnstile at center anymore, hopefully. We've upgraded the guard positions. Darnell Wright was a great pick in the first round, even though, was touting JSN no matter what, the entire pre-draft process. I think DJ Moore changes that receiver room completely. In Carolina, he was wide receiver 1. He played with some pretty rough quarterbacks and still produced. So I think that gives Fields the weapon that he was looking for. If Mooney stays healthy, that's helpful. I think with Claypool, he's another guy that's got to prove it this year. The trade last year, I know a lot of people dislike the pick that we gave up for him, but if he comes out this year and puts up pretty good wide receiver 2 numbers, scores a few touchdowns for us, to me, it was worth the deal and every penny. My biggest question still is, like I said earlier, though, is that defensive line. I don't see a major improvement there. I'm hoping that the people that we've got there now, put a little bit more pressure on the opposing teams, because I think that's where we really lacked last year. So if they could put some pressure on there, I think 6 to 7 wins is probably pretty close to where we're going to be.
Cool.
I'm generally along the same lines as you, TJ. Although I think I'm a little more optimistic. I think I could see this team, getting to 8 wins, maybe 9, if everything breaks their way, and of course, as long as everybody stays healthy. But I think TJ, your take is very astute. I think the weakness is the defensive line. I really like a lot of where the other team is. But so if I have to predict for the Bears, if everybody stays healthy, I think they are 8-9 wins, and I think they're constantly in the hunt graphic that we see, and maybe if things go well, they can squeak into a wild card. Because let's face it, the division is down. There's those teams in the division. I don't really believe in many of them, and they've all got their weaknesses too. So I think much more competitive this year from the Bears.
Well, I've changed my mind a lot about this one. I started being too conservative, I guess, with if we win 7 games, like it would be our bottom for me, 7 games, but the sky's the limit. So we could win. If you see the calendar in every game we have to play, every team, it doesn't look that hard. So we may end up winning even 9 or 10 games. That would be great. But I think at least we're gonna win 7 games. That's what I think.
Okay. All right. So I want to say thank you to all 3 of you for being here. It's time. We're going to play a little game now at this point. And the game is, how well do you know your Bear Down Chicago podcast host? Right. So I'm going to ask a series of questions. So Jack and Shells, I need your help. You're going to watch for the first hand that you see goes up. We'll get a chance to answer that question. And also, you need to pay close attention to the second hand that goes up, just in case that person gets the question wrong. I think some of these are pretty slam dunk, pretty easy, one of which was already addressed in this episode. So I'm going to start off with that one. So first person to raise your hand gets to answer this question. This BDCP host hates Cole Kmet.
TJ.
Gotta be Shells.
Yes, the answer is correct. 1 point, TJ. All right. This BDCP host likes Australian football.
TJ.
Dangle.
That would be correct. This BDCP host is a diehard Yankees fan.
TJ.
Shells.
Scott is so close. Like
I'm right there, man. I'm right there.
I suck at this. Can I just what?
Sure. Okay. Okay. Where do we go? Oh, hold on. This might be a little bit tougher, but I think he's told this story twice, or at least we've talked about it. This BDCP host had an awkward breakup in a car that probably lasted 3 hours because he was coming home from a hiking trip.
Scott.
I think that's Brendan.
No. Ooh, that would
Jack.
be
Is it Jack?
Jack.
Hey, so yeah.
Jack.
Heidi, you're on the board.
I'm sorry, I remember that one.
Hey, listen, Heidi. I got to
remember.
tell you, man. I got to tell you, Heidi, that if you suck at this, you've at least scored. I don't even have any points yet.
Okay.
I'm
right.
sorry.
Same episode, this BDCP host had a girlfriend who wouldn't leave the weekend after they broke up.
Oh,
Scott.
is that Brendan?
That is Brendan.
I got my stories confused.
There we go. All right. Now this one is tough. You got to give me 2. These 2 BDCP hosts are diehard White Sox fans.
TJ.
Logan and Jack.
That is correct. Man, I am impressed. These 2 BDCP hosts fell in love with the Chicago Bears because of the magical 2001 season.
TJ.
Brendan and Logan.
Nope.
Ooh.
Don't ask me.
You can guess.
Scott,
I'll
take a shot.
Yeah. Why not? I'm gonna say Shells and Brendan.
Ooh, Heidi, you want to take a shot?
Ah!
They
Well,
both.
they
got one of them right. One of them is right.
Oh, okay. Shells and Jack.
No, the answer is Dangle and Brendan.
Ah.
Okay, This BDCP host had a encounter with a bathroom, a friend, and a Brown's chicken.
A what?
A Brown's chicken.
TJ.
TJ.
This sounds like a Dangle one for some reason.
No. But now I'm second guessing myself because I thought I knew this, but now this host is looking very confused.
I was gonna say shells.
Yeah,
It's shells.
it was a Popeyes. I don't know what a Brown's chicken is.
Oh, so the question.
It was a
question
trick
is
question.
But
It was
we're
a
gonna
trick
give
question.
we're gonna give
Scott
2
got it.
questions to Scott. There you go. Okay, so all right, and then this one should be a slam dunk. We're gonna make this one worth 75 points because it's the last question. Which of the BDCP hosts is often accused of hating Valus Jones?
TJ.
Ryan.
That is correct. So TJ, you are our winner.
Yeah.
So let's get a
Well
round of
earned,
applause.
TJ. Well
Let's get
earned.
a round of applause. Okay.
Attaboy.
Before you all head out of here, we just want to know, are there any shout outs that you might like to give? So for shout outs, let's go TJ, Heidi, and Scott.
Okay, my first shout out, I'm going to throw a shout out to my son Jackson. This past week, we played our lacrosse playoffs. We played in the gold medal game on Tuesday, and we lost by 1 goal, unfortunately. But that didn't mean we got silver. We actually had to play for silver. It was a weird playoff format. Don't ask me how it works because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. But we played the silver championship game on Thursday night, and we went to overtime, and my son Jax ended up scoring the game winner. So
Let's go.
yeah, so it was according to my Fitbit, my heart rate was at about 135 beats per minute during the entire game, which I was like, okay, this is probably the most stressful thing I've ever watched. But to see him win it was pretty awesome. Other than that, shout out to you guys. Thanks for having us on the pod. Congrats on like all the successes you guys have had. Jack, again, Scott said at the beginning of the show, we've been thinking about you lately. It's nice to see you back. Hope you're doing well. And that's all I got.
Thanks, TJ.
Thank you.
Heidi, what about you?
Of course, shout outs to all of you for having me again, to the people that are listening or the future listeners. A big shout out because I have been a mess today. I have my reasons, but nobody has to know. and a big hug to Jack because of all these things that has happened lately in his life and with his family. Shout out to everybody here and my co-host, my co-guests.
Yes, love it. Scott, what about you?
I want to shout out. I'm going to follow TJ's lead. I'm going to shout out both of my kids. My oldest son Paul graduated from high school about a month ago. He's going to Bradley University, so we're very, very excited about that. My youngest son Derek is going to be a freshman. He is decided that he wants to play in the marching band. He took up the trumpet about a year ago. He's sitting in there with people who've been playing for years, and he went and was kind of overwhelmed, but he's sticking with it, persevering. He's practicing. He's getting better every day, and I just want to shout him out for staying with it. I also want to shout out TJ and Heidi as kind of representatives of the little community that has formed as a result of listening to the show. There's so many people that I interact with on Twitter, and they're the only way that I know them, including TJ and Heidi. The only way I know them is because we all listen to this show. And it's some of the most fun people that I follow on Twitter are people that listen to the show. And so shout out to all the listeners and all the people that we interact with on Twitter. And then I agree with the other two. I just want to shout you guys out along with Logan and Brendan. I said this to you guys when I was on before. I just love this little thing that you guys have going here. I love the way that you go about it. You guys are always so positive, and you lift everybody up, and you're all about like bringing everybody else to the fore. Just to listen to you three talk about Brendan earlier tonight, it just makes me so happy to hear that. And that's what you guys are so about. And you guys make it so easy to support the work that you do. Not only because it's really, really good, but because you guys are just really, really good people. And I just appreciate you. So shout out to all you guys.
Wow.
Ryan, if I can just jump in one more second here. Sorry, I forgot one shout out that I wanted to put out there. I want to shout out, send a shout out to Ozzy from the Bear Facts Pod. Great pod. If nobody has had a chance to listen to it, he's got a few episodes up. Ozzy is one of the best human beings I have met through this pod and through Bears Twitter itself. Great host, just a great individual all around. And I'm not going to say too much, but him and I got another project we're going to be working on. Probably at least 2 of them coming up. So hopefully we can get those out this summer and we can go from there. But I just wanted to give him a shout out because I completely forgot.
So we want to say thank you one more time to Cousin Heidi. We want to say thank you to TJ Brooks and Scott Swartz. Thank you so very much for being part of the Bear Down Chicago podcast family. Seriously, guys, we appreciate you so very much. We hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you, guys.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Dude,
That's cool.
man, that got me in the feels. Like,
I know, right?
I love them, but like that, like, dude, Scott like almost had me for a minute there, man. Like I thought I'm not tearing up on a podcast. You're crying, cutting onions.
I meant it.
Like,
Like seriously, if you asked me the 3, the nicest people on Twitter, I would start with those 3. They'd be at the very top of the list. I mean, Scott hit the nail on the head. There really is a great community that we have in Bears Twitter, but specifically around this podcast. I've met some great people on Twitter because of this podcast, and they have raised the level of discourse on Twitter, which can be a cesspool at times, we know. And it's nice to have those pockets of really good people to connect with and realize that those folks are out there, despite some of the negativity that you see on Twitter. So I'm very fortunate to have those guys and gals following our podcast and interacting with us. So thank you to the 3 of you for joining. We had a blast tonight.
Man, Jack, when we started this thing, like,
right?
This was not something that we thought was going to happen. Like, it's so cool, dude.
No, and
so
I think
cool.
Shell said it, maybe just in a slightly different way. Say that I think we were trying to avoid the Jerry Springer, meathead yelling, hot takes, right? Like we've said, everybody can fan how they want to fan when it comes to the Bears, but we wanted to avoid that. I guess I didn't expect it to turn quite so positive. You know what I mean? Like, even though the Bears have been pretty shit, let's face it, to be able to meet those people. And you guys know when you have tough times, like, people show up for you. So thanks to all of them for all those kind words they said.
Absolutely. Boys, is there anything that you guys want to talk
to you guys too for everything that's been going on?
Is there anything that you guys want to talk about Bears related before we get out of here for the evening?
I don't hate Cole Kmet. I don't hate him.
I almost felt like there was a lean-in moment, like this is about to be something really serious.
Yeah.
Can we so we know that Ryan hates Velas, and we know that Shells hates Kmet. Is there a player that I hate? Is there a play? Well, besides Jay Cutler, is there a player that Brendan or Logan? Like, I don't think I think you guys are.
I don't hate Velas. I just don't understand the pick at all. And in fact, if I met him, I would be insanely complimentary and like, dude, I'm cheering for you.
Yeah.
But I just don't think you are the right pick. Sorry. So is there
you're making my Kmet argument for me. That's
fair. That's fair.
Well, it's no worries because now we got a Green Bay Packer cast off as a secondary tight end. So we should be set.
I mean, Tanyan had a good year. Was it 2-3 years ago, whatever it was? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Boys, anything else? Any shout outs that you would like to give, Shells or J-Dubs, before I give my shout outs?
Just a real quick one. You guys know my kids and I are into the sports card scene, and the Palmetto Cards here locally had a trade night last night. It was a lot of fun. The kids had a blast. It was funny to see. They were not they made a couple trades, but my youngest kind of put out like his worst cards and then was perplexed that nobody wanted to give him like a $3,000 Pokemon for, some like 29-cent card, and he just couldn't understand it. So luckily my sister and my nephew were visiting, and my sister swooped in and bought a couple of his cards for way over market value. So turned the night around for him. So thank goodness for ants. But no, Palmetto Cards, they put on a great night for the kids, and we all had a great time. So shout out to them.
Let's see. Shout out to my oldest son, Jack, who's headed to Marquette.
Yes, let's go.
Shout out to my son, Connor, who got the boot off his broken ankle and is shredding it on a wakeboard up in Minnesota right now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
He's got a boat, eh? And shout out to my 3-sport phenom, Peyton, who's got a birthday coming up. She's going to be sweet 16 on July 6th. Daddy got her a new car, and happy birthday, PK. And again, thanks to all of you for all your support through tough times lately.
Jack, sorry that I'm going to do this to you, but just so you know, dude, you're one of my absolute best friends in the whole wide world. And this show would not be complete without you being around. And just we love you. And I just want to say thank you, dude, because, you know, I've had some stuff too. And you've just been a rock for me through all the stuff that you've been through. So just my shout outs go all to you, buddy. And just, you know, that everyone, the BDCP family, we love you very, very much. And it's so awesome to have you right back here where you belong. For all of us here at the Bear Down Chicago podcast, thank you. We know that there are a million places you can get your Bears information and hang out with Bears fans, and you've chosen to hang out with us. Truly, we've lost ways in which to say it. It means a lot to us that you're hanging out with us, you're watching this episode, you're sending us feedback, you're interacting with us. And there are so many of you awesome people that interact with us on a regular basis that were not on this episode today. We want to say thank you to you so very much. If you have a question, you want to talk with us, hit us on Twitter. You can get us at Gmail at beardownchipod@gmail. You can hit us up at just about anywhere. Instagram, we're Facebook, we're all over the place. Come by and say hello. So I want to say thank you one last time for Jack Wright, Patrick Sheldon, Logan Bradley, and Brendan Shagrew. Thank you so much, folks. And as always, bear down, Chicago.